Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer, and I don't know. You know what I'd wonder? Why do I always say good evening? Because you know what it is? It's because I was on the news for so long. Because I realized half of you, more like three quarters of you, are watching this when you're supposed to be working. I know, and your boss is away, and you're watching Rick Dancer, wondering who I'm going to yell out today, and um, and so I always say good evening. But anyway, thank you for being here. And our sponsor tonight is Chris Dental Family Dentistry and dentures. Now they're also doing denture. They have a denturist on site, and they can do dentures for you right there at the clinic as well. So Dr. Bratland says it's a good time to come in, especially if you're having, like, I started having tooth pain the other day, and I'm like, oh shoot, I hate being so far away from Bratland because I still go to him. I go all the way to Eugene because I'm back there every 5, 6 months or so, and so I just go in and go to the dentist. But right now, if you use your deductible and you've got a little tooth pain, or you have a feeling that they told you is coming out a little bit, now's the time to get that fixed because your insurance company will have to pay for it. So anyway, that's our sponsor for tonight. Um, so guy called me on the phone or sent me an email, and you're going to meet him tonight. I call him the Marble Man because at first when he told me what he does, I thought he'd lost his marbles, but now I realize he truly did. And that's a good thing. He's trying to lose his marbles, and he wants you to find them. So this is Hezekiah Meekum. How you doing, Hezekiah?
I'm good. How are you?
Dude, that is a mouthful in terms of a name. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
Do you go by a shortened version
Yeah,
of
I
it?
go by Hez.
Hez.
Yep,
Okay. Because that king thing is really big for you, huh?
it is.
Your parents put a lot of pressure on you.
Yes, they did. Yes,
I
they
hope
did.
they know that. So you live in Lapine, Oregon, and tell me what you called me to tell me about when we were talking on the online.
Well, in April, I started having this influx of marbles. I started blowing glass in October of 2021, and marbles were a good way for me to practice glass blowing or lamp working. And so, in a lot of practice, I found a lot of marbles, and you can't. You can make them faster than you can sell them, I guess. And I was wondering what to do with all these marbles, and I had heard of things like this going on before, but I thought it would be a great thing to go on as a business.
Hold on.
And so I started making these marbles, and I would take some out and I would stash them around, around the local town or in the parks or down by the river or whatever, and take picture clues, and I'd post them on Facebook. And so what that turned into was I created a Facebook group where I was hiding 5 marbles every Saturday all throughout the summer with big holiday events going on, 4th of July, things like that. And it slowed down a little bit for the winter, but it's we got a lot of snow here, and so I've switched over and I've been hiding some ornaments for Christmas. I hand make ornaments also, and so I've been stashing some of them around. But yeah, like here you can see me here. I'm making a dichro vortex, and yeah, it's quite fun. It's my passion, and so it was just a way for me to try and share some of that, because I get all excited and just overwhelmed with gratitude when I'm making these things. And so when I'm out there, I'm hoping that when people find them, they get a little bit of that same feeling.
So what is it about making marbles that kind of does it for you, Hez?
Well, they're amazing. There's so much you can do with it. I mean, if you really want to get me started, we can you can make vortexes, which is a marble. It's a marble that looks deeper than it really is. So it'll have a backer on one side, and when you look into it, it'll look like it goes on and screws in, kind of like a vortex. It's an optical illusion. Those are really fun to make. Air trap implosions. I can make a flower inside of a marble. There's just a lot of fun, and it's a good way to practice different techniques in glass blowing, because a glass blower is definitely what I want to be.
Wow. So when my dad was a little kid, marbles, you played marble. There's a game, I mean, people really played marbles, and I have a whole collection of his that he gave me, and I have them in a jar that I could see. But oh, look at that. That's super cool. What's that called?
That one's it's a dichro swirl. So dichroic glass is like what they used, like the windows of the space shuttle to reflect radiation and stuff. And what they found in the art world is that it can give you a really nice glitter effect inside. And so that one there, I just put a piece in there and then I spun it to give it kind of a swirl effect. And that's one that I'll actually be hiding between now and Christmas, somewhere out there when I find the right spot to put it.
So tell me how this hiding thing goes. So you take 5 or so this month, and you're going to take them out because you're having one this weekend. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
And for you folks that are watching this too late, sorry you missed out. But this weekend would be the 16th, 17th, and 18th. So how many are you putting out there?
Well, right now I've got 4 ornaments and 2 marbles that are sitting off that I've made for the hunt. Because I make all sorts of stuff: shot glasses, hummingbird feeders, sculptures of sea life creatures. I mean, and I'm constantly trying to expand my experience, and create new products and stuff. But I'm always going back to these marbles because that's what got me started. But so I'll stash these around, and then anyone that's on Facebook, and that's kind of the downfall right now, is you have to use Facebook. I know that some people don't.
Right.
But Facebook is the only kind of platform I have right now to publicly and freely post all these clues.
So where do they go? What's your Facebook page?
It's Hezi Art Hiders Marble Hunt, and that's HEZIART, and then Hiders Marble Hunt.
So if people then can come on there and you give clues as to where they are.
Yes, yeah, it is a closed group, so they just have to apply to join, and we pretty much let everyone that's not a bot join,
Right.
And so then once they join, you just keep an eye out, turn the notifications on, and that's where I post all the clues.
And so this is in Deschutes County in Oregon, right?
Yes, it is. But I encourage, like I've had members that have gone on vacation to like North Carolina and places like that, and they've taken a marble with them and hid it over there, and then told people over there, and also posted on the page. So I'm really open to expansion.
So what do you want this to turn into? Why do you do this?
For fun, honestly, just trying to spread the love. There's a lot that happened during COVID, and everyone kind of got shut in and everything. And so right after we were kind of coming out and people were still a little standoffish, I was just trying to bring the community together a little bit, get everyone talking.
So what did you do before glass blowing?
Well, a lot of different things. I cooked in the kitchen for quite a while, and then I worked with but I've always been naturally artistic. I used to draw a lot, and for a while I was trying to be a tattoo artist, but that didn't really. The passion wasn't there like it is with glass blowing for me.
So what is it about doing that for you?
It's hard to explain. When the first time I picked up a glass rod, it honestly felt like I had been doing it for lifetimes, and it was just felt really, really natural, and it was the greatest thing that I've got found in life so far. It's the best medium for me, anyways.
So why is it so important, Hez, do you think, that people find their passion in life?
Well, it goes back to that. If you're doing what you love, then you never have to work a day in your life. And it shows through. I've never worked harder than I do now, but I've never been happier at what I'm doing. I put a lot of hours in, whether it's 10 degrees or 100 degrees outside, I'm in the studio.
So what have you learned about yourself from doing this?
Well, there are a lot of things actually, but that I got a lot of room to grow, and me myself, doing this interview, for instance, I used to be pretty standoffish and, not very outspoken. And so this has gotten me interacting with people more. I now have customers that come, and, a lot of people see me out in the community, and they're like, oh, there's the marble guy and stuff. So it's kind of like gotten me out of my shell. And I've learned that there's an entirely new lifestyle out there that I really want to embrace. And I want to start traveling and sharing, the glass, maybe lessons and things like that, and expanding my own experience as well.
So has it kind of given you confidence knowing that don't you think there's a lot of kids, and you're not a kid, I don't know how old you are, but I'm not calling you a kid, But don't you think there's a lot of people that have not found their thing?
Yes.
And you know what that feels like, don't you?
Yes, yes, I do. That's an incredible point, Rick. I appreciate you bringing that up because yeah, it's would be hard to imagine life without glass now, but it has brought an incredible sense of gratitude into my life that I feel on pretty much a daily basis. And that is something that I didn't have before, and I felt not necessarily empty, but I knew something what I was missing. I was unfulfilled, so to speak. And so now it's I live a very fulfilling life.
So, we all have our past and stuff like that. And, I mean, I can, when I grew up in high school, I got an F in a speech class because I wouldn't get up and give a speech. And then the right thing came along. And when a teacher saw that, the problem I had was preparing all that. If you just asked me to get up and talk, I could do it. And one day he just said, Rick, get up and do this. And I did it. And on the cuff, and he looked at me and goes, who are you? And I said, I'm a communicator. And he goes, go communicate. And it changed everything for me. I don't know you, Hezekiah, but I'm guessing that life in the past has been a little tough because it is for most of us. And
Yes, yes, it was.
what would your family say this has done for you?
Um, well, it's made them very happy. You know, I have a lot of family support now, and they, at some point in time, they might have been worried about me. I struggled with depression and things like that. And, they always wanted what's best for me. And now that they see me doing my best and striving to do better all the time, they love it. They're really happy for it.
Yeah, I deal with that too. At times, and doing my, that's what I can't imagine retiring because doing this, finding people like you, because everybody has a story, and I think we try to hide the ugliness of them. But for you, once you found your gift, now it's not as ugly. The past,
Now,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I know. Yep. I'm not scared to show myself to people now.
because were you, I'm just pulling words, but were you kind of ashamed at who you were before?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty accurate word. Yes. I felt like a failure, honestly.
And so,
I go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You were on the point.
I knew I had potential to do something positive and great and just something really fulfilling, and I wasn't doing that before glass, and now I am. So
So, do you think you could bring marbles back? I mean, you know what I mean? Like with bec- it,
it's really funny you say that because if you bring marbles back, are you talking like the game marbles?
yeah.
Okay, because I've got a lot of different things going on, but one of them is that I want to make little pouches and have a set with the shooter and your ones you shoot at and the rules all nice and typed up, and I'm gonna try making little sets, and yeah, I'm gonna attempt to bring the game of marbles back and see how that goes.
No, I think you should because don't you think it's perfect timing, Has? Because, um, like you said, after COVID, I'm listening to reports today when I'm driving into the gym in Helena today, and people talking about the consumption of phones with kids and everything, and there's no creativity left because they're gaming all the time and doing this. Whereas you can take marbles out on a playground or on the street corner or in your backyard
Pretty
and
much anywhere, make yourself a little circle and have a game of marbles. Yeah.
so you know what I love about talking to you is you are so freaking happy.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
I'm, I'm, I'm glad it shows.
you really are, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I am very grateful. Like I said, spend a lot of days on my torch, and when you're doing things and I'm getting repetition and I'm making marbles or whatever I'm making, a lot of times my brain's kind of like two places at once, and a lot of the times it's like I'm just so incredibly thankful. I'm like all the struggles that I went through in my life to get here were so incredibly worth it now. Like I wouldn't change a thing because this is the greatest experience I've ever had.
So do this for me. 5 years ago, where were you? What were you? How,
5 years ago, I was living in Northern California. Um, wasn't very good living conditions. It wasn't the greatest of jobs. I was actually on an Indian reservation growing medicinal marijuana, and it wasn't my dream. It was actually kind of stressful.
So tell me the moment like when you kind of went the glass thing. How did that come up? There's got to be a story there. Like
Yeah. Okay. So we
you,
were we
you
were
didn't.
in the park. My daughter and I. She was. I think she just turned about 7, and we were there playing in the park. We went there quite often, and there was a lady with her dog, and she found a marble there at the park, like a glass marble. And so she was showing everyone what she found, and my daughter looked at it, and she was like, "Hey, I wonder how that was made." And I was like, "I don't know myself, but I'm pretty curious." It was a nice looking marble, and turns out there was actually a local glass blower here in town, um, and he was open to showing me a thing or two. I reached out to him, and and I went over and took a few little lessons from him, and then the next thing I know, I was buying a torch and a kiln and tanks, and it was just nothing could stop me.
So not to make more than I don't know. I just think things like this are pretty interesting. Like, I don't know what your belief system is, but like if the if God's up there and he's going, I cannot wait till my King Hezekiah figures out what his gift is and what it is that I want him to do. And it all kind of stems to this like, and isn't that just like you know, to me, God or whatever your belief system is to have a child show her father what it is.
Yes, yeah. And I think that those above would actually be really proud of me, and probably pretty relieved that I found something to dump all my energy into.
Because don't you think, Hezekiah, that sometimes, I mean, I think about my past and way back, and you kind of go, um, all those things that I tried. I never. I feel bad for people in their 20s today and their early 30s because I think they get so frustrated. And I remember being that, thinking there's never anything good going to come out of my life. And then when you find that magic moment, and it changes everything. And then I mean, I have people that went to high school with me and going because I was like a stoner, you know, I didn't I didn't know who I was or anything like that. And so all
Right,
of a sudden they go, "Oh my God, Rick Dancer's on TV," and
right.
plus I was super shy, and so I never talked about anything like that. So when um, you know, it's people like you that make my day because I didn't really know what you're about. I had very little idea, but I knew you had a passion for this thing. And I went, I'm just going to take a chance and do something with him. And man, I like who you are. You're
Thank you,
very
thank you.
cool.
That means a lot coming from you, Rick, because I've watched you my whole life, and I think you're great. So
Well, look at what you're doing. I mean, and you're coming up with creative ideas on ways to do this. But man, tell me when you get the little marble kit done.
oh, I will. I will. It'll probably be a few months out. Next month, I'm headed to Las Vegas, down in Las Vegas, and I'm taking some more lessons. I've got a really good glass blower that's uh, seen my passion, and he's kind of taken me under his wing. So we're meeting up down there, and some big things will be happening when I get back.
So you make also hummingbird feeders and all that kind of stuff?
Hummingbird feeders, sculptures, shot glasses, functional glass, pretty much anything that's made out of borosilicate and within my uh, experience or within my skill level, and even some that are not. I'm always trying to do new things.
Well, I want to see when you get some stuff done. I want to see something because I want to buy something from you. I think that'd be
Oh,
super,
of course,
it'd be
of
super
course.
cool to have something that you did and you produced and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
so again, tell people how they get a hold of you. So it's on Facebook, and
yeah.
I
On
wish I could
Facebook,
write this on here now, but you'll put it in the comment section.
I'll put it in the comments. Yes,
Okay.
but it's on Facebook. Heziart, Heziart is a way they can reach out to me, or the Heziart Hiders Marble Hunt. And any one of those pages, I answer personally, and I run them both. So I get back pretty within a timely manner, or try to.
So do you find that when people find your art, what does that make you feel like?
Oh, it's an incredible feeling. And every time a new customer comes along, or someone buy something, or they find something on the hunt, they're always messaging me to tell me, how awesome it is and how incredible it is. And so sometimes there's a little bit of disbelief because I'm like, man, you know, all these people think what I do is amazing. And it can be almost a little overwhelming at times. It's a lot to live up to.
Well, yeah, but you're also, and the thing I love about art, and because I mean, people say, okay, what I do is art or, so, your conversation and that stuff. But see, when we're done, I mean, yes, I do believe, I leave something behind in you and you will definitely leave something behind in me. So there's a relationship there. But what you're doing is, I mean, this is the thing I think is so cool is if I had one of your marbles, which people will do this, I'm sure they're going to set it somewhere in your room or somewhere where you look at it and you look down and you appreciate that. Well, that's your creation.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing.
When people like paint, my wife paints and I have some of her paintings around here, and you go, you just took a piece of yourself and put it where you're able to put it into an art form that people can appreciate. And you don't know, this is the cool thing, has those marbles, especially when you create the game, you know, like here I am and my dad's long dead. He'd be over 100 by now. And I've got a whole jar full of his marbles, but no, he didn't even make them. But your marbles will keep, they don't go away. It's like long after
Right.
you're gone, you have these marbles. And I think, I think you are the marble man,
Thank you. Thank
not the
you.
Marlboro man, marble man.
Yep, the Marvel Man. Yep. No, it's actually gotten to be something bigger than I ever thought it was at this point. And I know that we're still just scratching the surface of my glass career. We're younger than 2 years right now, and I've really come a long ways. And so I'm excited to see what I'm capable of in the next 5 years, and where I'll be at then.
So how old are you?
I'm 38.
And how many kids you have?
I have three.
And you live in the Pine. Where are you from? Where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born in Cottage Grove and raised there for the most part. Then when I was about 12, 13, we started moving around a little bit, and I wound up in Eastern Oregon in John Day area.
Okay.
And I spent, about 8 years there, and then went to California for a while. And then I came back to Oregon in 2018, and I've been here in Central Oregon ever since.
So what's the hardest thing that you've ever had to go through?
Ooh, there's been a lot of it. I'd say probably being away from my family and everything down in California, and I got myself into a few bad situations where it wasn't looking really safe for me physically, and it was pretty bad. It was a dark period of my life, and I'm glad it's behind me.
So what's the brightest period?
Oh, right now, actually, every day, I think things are the greatest, and then the next day comes along and something good happens, or I create something better, or I don't know. Every day is awesome. They all compete for the top now.
So what I like about people like you is you've had a rough life.
Yeah.
And so, but see, here to me, what that means is that you have gratitude. You understand. There's a depth to you that other people don't have because they've lived kind of more in the shallows, and you took the deep dive, and that doesn't mean your family was always happy about that, but it means that when you come up for the air, that you appreciate it more. You see, plus to come from this and to become that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, that is a lot of where my gratitude comes from, because I know how bad things could be, or where I potentially could have been at this point in time. And so, there is a part of me that's super proud of myself, because it was my decision to make things different. And in that decision and making things different, I also happened to find borosilicate glass, and here we are.
So a couple more things. I'm sorry, you're too
Yeah.
interesting. You're not getting away with that fast. So what advice do you give your kids then?
Well, to pay attention to their feelings and their emotions, but to also not let them influence their decisions too much, to try and think logically and to just be happy and polite and overall just respectful. everything that you think we should have as morals and values as a good human being.
What do you say to that young person out there watching right now, or people your age, which is young compared to me, who just don't want to, or don't think their life's ever going to get better, and they're kind of at a place where they just don't care if they live anymore?
Well, don't ever give up hope, because really you're a moment away from a major change. It could come at any time, and you never know. So, and it's that moment when you stop, living and trying to get out there. It's not going to come to you. So just keep pressing on, and stay hopeful. That's kind of a tough one.
And it has to be your decision, huh?
Yeah, it's got to come from within you. No one else can really bring it to you or make it happen. It's really, you just got to decide that you're going to keep fighting on, and even though things are tough.
And then someday when you're playing in the park with your kid, you find
a marble. Yep.
So do you trust your feelings?
Yes, very much so.
Do you think as a kid you were kind of overlooked?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, possibly.
And now you're in full vision.
Yep, everybody sees me now.
Hezekiah, I am so glad you got a hold of me. You know how you love that feeling you get when you're blowing glass?
Yes.
And you're making a marble? I just got that because of you.
Thank you.
I do a ton of interviews with all kinds of things, and I love doing interviews. But when you get somebody like you, this is why I do what I do. And because there's so many people that will get so much out of this, because you were honest and you're just who you are. And there's so many fake ass people out there that, and it's like, and they're hiding behind, the perfect demure, and all this stuff. And you're just, and you'll be, I will guarantee you are a breath of fresh air to so many people.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate you doing this for me. This is awesome.
No, I'm glad you called. So again, you guys, the marble hunt is this weekend, but you can find them. If you get on the page, you have to be in the club.
Yep. Get in the club. Join the page.
Just be brave, lose your marbles, and go to the marble club.
Yep.
And then you can go find all the hints and find out how to do it. And then, God, Hezekiah, you should, honestly, what we should do is you should send me some.
I will.
And I'll put some in Montana.
All right, let's do it.
And you can do in Montana. We probably want to wait till after the snow.
Right.
But in the spring, we'll keep in touch. And then in the spring, and then I'll do another one of these, and we'll do it. We'll announce we're going to do a Montana marble hunt. And I have connections in other communities, little small towns, and we'll find places to put them. And then, and we'll get your work out there a little bit bigger. Okay.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Dude, I like you. You're a good guy.
You're so great, Rick. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you have a good weekend, and thanks again for letting me know and telling me about this. Okay. And keep in contact with me.
I will.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye, Rick.
See you later. All right. So you heard how he just talked about his craft, and that's what he does. Well, people like him, like Hezekiah, that's what makes me come alive. Because that's the real deal, God. I think we need to be looking for more people in our lives that aren't pretentious and, that take the world, he said it over and over. He has gratitude. And the other thing you should remember, two things. One is, if you've had a hard life, which all of us have, but some people's are harder than others, there is hope. And there are ways out, but nobody's going to do it for you. Yes, a small child can hand you a marble, and God can use that to help you, but she didn't do it. He had to make the decision to do it. And the second thing is, if you judge people by their past, shame on you. Because you know what? You're missing out on the greatest people on the earth. Go back in time to all the Abraham, Moses. Moses was a loser. God had to slap him around and do all kinds of stuff with him. the great people in the world, the Hezekiahs, are the people that have had rough beginnings and they've found their way out. And so if you're discounting those kind of folks, you don't need to hang out on my page, because we're going to be a page where we promote those kind of folks, because that's what we do. And dude, what are you? Can I bring you back on? Nod your head if it's okay. Can I? What do you think?
I appreciate what you're saying. It means a lot to me.
Because it's true,
It
right?
is true. It's very true. Yeah.
You have, yeah, people overlooked us, and then when you find your thing now, but see, the thing I think it's kind of cool, Hezekiah, is we wouldn't have been able to understand it if it happened sooner.
No, not at all.
And sometimes people like you and me are kind of hard-headed. And our parents might say a bit of an asshole
Yep.
in those days. But then look at the warm person that was inside. And that's probably why we do that, is because I think we are probably a little bit more tender warriors. Not pusses. I'm saying a tender warrior. And so we got our feelings hurt more. And then now when we get to find the thing that makes us come alive. I had a guy one time, and he was named Richard Gorsuch, and he painted. He was at Cannon Beach, and he went out every day and painted 365 days of Cannon Beach, the rock at Cannon Beach right there. He painted it, and from the same location every day. And he said, I don't know why, I just know God wanted me to do it. And then he had all these little paintings. And he said, Rick, and that's funny. I didn't even think about this dude. He had a jar of marbles. And he said 20 years ago, a friend had said, you're too much into your business. You're not doing enough fun things. He gave him these marbles. He said, go find your marbles. Go find something to make you come alive. And that day I was there. Richard buried those marbles because he said, I don't need them anymore because I found my art. Isn't that weird? I didn't even think about this story when I started telling it about the marble part. Then he turned to me and he said, so Rick, the thing is, go find the thing that makes you sing, that makes you dance, that makes you come alive, and then come alive.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting to do, is come alive,
And so that's what's cool about this, what we're doing right now, this relationship here, is that this is how life is supposed to work, is you're giving me what I need and I'm giving you what you need. And we're not doing it on purpose. It's just, that's how it flows.
That's how it flows. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you for showing me my marbles today. And
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me share mine.
Yeah, you're welcome, my man. All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Rick.
See you, buddy. Oh, that's awesome. So again, our show is sponsored by Chris Dental Family Dentistry, Michael Bratlin, the doctor. And if you are in a place where you've used your deductible, now is the time to use it before the end of the year. If you really enjoyed that show, here's what you should do. Share it on your page. Just share it, because you don't know who's coming on your pages and looking, and that needed to hear that today, that needed to have a little bit of Hez in their life, needed a little marble find. And you just don't know who you're helping by just posting that on your page. All right, so tomorrow night, what's our show about? I've recorded something that's also fun, another character. His name is Dancer Davis. I'm not kidding you. He's a cowboy, a real cowboy from Montana, and he lives in my town. So there are now two dancers in this town, Dancer Davis and Rick Dancer. And he has some advice for people that it's old-fashioned good advice about life. And it comes in stories. And he talks a little bit about a cattle drive he did. So I will guarantee you will love it. You are going to enjoy it. And it's just a trip to a place. And you know what's so funny is I would say a trip to the past, but it's not the past because I'm living it in Montana. And you can find it in Oregon in places like Lapine or Harney County or Gillum County. But that's why we do this, is introduce you to people that are going to inspire you. And I'm feeling really good about my Tuesday today. Thank you, Hezekiah. I appreciate your. You know what? I can say I love that guy. I really love who that guy is, and I'm so glad we all got to meet him. Man, I love my job. I do. I really love my job. I just blew a bunch of marbles.